Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Science 7. We are now in week 6 of our lesson. Today's most essential learning competency is to investigate the properties of unsaturated and saturated solution. Specifically, we must identify and describe the components and properties of a solution. But before we start, here are some reminders. If you want to ask and answer some questions, you can use the chat box to key in your comments. Let us have a short review of our lesson from week 5. I will show you different pictures of substances. Tell me if the picture is a pure substance by typing your answer in the chat box using a capital letter P and capital letter M if the substance is a mixture. Are you ready? First picture. What do you think of a salt? Is it a pure substance or a mixture? Key in now your answer in the chat box. The answer, salt is considered a pure substance. Next picture, we have pizza. Is it a pure substance or a mixture? The correct answer, pizza is a mixture. Third picture, we have an image of a gold bar. What do you think of a gold bar? Is it a pure substance or a mixture? Correct. Gold bar is a pure substance. Next, we have a picture of a diamond. What could be your answer? Is it a pure substance or a mixture? Great! Diamond is a pure substance and composed almost entirely of the element carbon. And for our last picture, what do you think of a milk tea? Is it a pure substance or a mixture? Yes, you are right. Milk tea is a good example of a mixture. Great, grade 7 students. Now, let us have a prediction. Which do you think will dissolve into the water? Is it the sugar or the sun? Absolutely right. The sugar will dissolve into the water and make it into a sugar solution. But what is a solution? A solution is a type of homogeneous mixture that is made up of two or more substances. And what is a homogeneous mixture? A homogeneous mixture is a type of mixture with a uniform composition. This means that the substances cannot be distinguished easily from one another. When you look closely at our example of sugar solution, upon mixing sugar with water, you cannot see the sugar particles anymore, making this a homogeneous mixture or known to be a solution. Solution has its main components. First, we have the solute. Solute is a substance that is being dissolved. Generally, it is present in lesser amounts. From the example of sugar solution, which do you think is the solute? Hit the heart button if it is the sugar, and the wow emoji if it is the water. Yes, you are right. Sugar dissolved by water, hence it is called solute. The second component of a solution is what we call solvent. Solvent is a substance that dissolves the solute in a solution and is present in greater amounts. With the sugar solution mentioned a while ago, water is the solvent. Did you know that water is the universal solvent because it can dissolve more substances than any other liquid? Additionally, a solution is not always in a liquid form. It can be solid, like the bronze, liquid, like soft drinks, or gas, like the scuba tank. Now, will you identify the other solutions from the picture? Great! There are solutions that occur naturally, such as rainwater, that contains dissolved gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. Also, seawater is a solution having a higher percentage of salt and minerals. Blood plasma is also a solution. The components of the food that we eat go into solution during digestion. Air is another example of solution with a different mixture of gases. Do you know that there are also manufactured or processed solutions that are made for a specific purpose, such as vinegar, gasoline, wine, cement, plastic, and a lot more. So, solution is a mixture of solute and a solvent. If the solute dissolves into a solvent and forms a solution, we may say it as a soluble, like sugar and water. But if the substance does not dissolve and form into a solution, we call it insoluble, like sand and water. What if I will put the sugar solution under the sun for about an hour? What do you think will happen? Great! The water will evaporate and only the sugar particles will be left in the beaker. What does it mean? We can separate the solute and solvent from the solution through the process of evaporation. Maybe I could add some more sugar into the sugar solution and stir it. Do you know that stirring helps the solute dissolve even faster? There are other factors affecting the solubility. We have the size of the particles. The smaller the particles of the solute, the faster it will dissolve. Next, we have temperature. Generally, an increase in the temperature of the solution increases the solubility of a solid solute. Let us find out more soluble and insoluble substances. Among the pictures, which are the soluble and insoluble substances? Alright, so let's find out what are those soluble and insoluble substances. For the soluble substances, we have salt and dish soap. While those insoluble substances, we have wood, plastic, oil and water, and sand. Solubility is defined as the maximum amount of a solute that can dissolve in a given amount of solvent at a certain temperature. The amount of dissolved solute produces three types of solution. Do you know what are those three types of solution? To understand more about this, let us try this simple experiment. We need water, sugar, a spoon, a stirrer, and a heating apparatus. Now we're going to have our experiment. First, we will put a tablespoon of sugar into the water. Second, stir it until the sugar completely dissolves. Now, we are able to make a sugar solution. The unsaturated solution is a type of solution that contains less amount of solute than the maximum amount it can dissolve at a given temperature and leaving no traces of. The question is, can we still dissolve any amount of sugar in water if we keep on adding more of it? This time, we are going to keep adding a spoonful of sugar in the water and stir it. Notice, after adding a few spoons, the sugar starts settling at the bottom of the beaker despite continuous stirring. At this stage, no more sugar dissolves in the solution. This solution is now saturated. At this point, it is now called the saturation point of the solution. The saturated solution contains the maximum amount of solute can be dissolved in a given amount of solvent. If we keep adding more solute to the solvent, it will no longer dissolve the sugar because the solution already reaches its saturation point. On the other hand, saturation point is beyond which the substance will no longer dissolve in the solution. The presence of excess solid which can no longer dissolve is evidence that the solution is saturated and becomes a supersaturated solution. Supersaturated solution contains more than the maximum amount of solute that is capable of being dissolved at a given temperature. Now, is there any way that we can dissolve the excess sugar settled at the bottom of the beaker? Let us try to heat the solution and see what will happen. As you look closer, the excess sugar settled at the bottom of the beaker starts to dissolve. Therefore, we conclude that heating a saturated solution makes it an unsaturated solution. Hence, a larger amount of a substance can be dissolved in a saturated solution by heating. To wrap up our lesson for today, solution is a mixture of solute and solvent. Solute is the substance that is being dissolved, while solvent is the substance dissolves the solute in a solution. Question: what are the factors affecting the solubility? We have stirring, size of the particles, and temperature. How about what are the three types of solutions? We have unsaturated solution, saturated solution, and supersaturated solution. As we conclude, solutions are very important into our daily lives. The air we breathe, the liquids we drink, and the fluids in our body are all solutions. Now, it is your time to investigate and experiment. You may now answer your learning packet from pages 7 to 20. At this point, I will now entertain some of your questions related to our lesson for today. So if you have some clarifications or other inquiries about our lesson, you can use the chat box to key in. So let me check our chat box and choose the first question. All right, so let's have our first question. A question from the student of Karuhatan National High School. She is asking if what is solute and solvent in a solution. From our discussion a while ago, a simple solution is basically two substances that are evenly mixed together. One of them is the solute and the other one is the solvent. A solute is the substance to be dissolved, like the sugar, while the solvent is the one doing the dissolving, like the water. Now, let's pick another question. Okay, a question from Citero National High School. Ma'am, how do you know if a solution is unsaturated? Well, for us to know if the solution is unsaturated, if you add solute and it dissolves, then the solution is unsaturated. But if you add solute and won't dissolve, then the solution is saturated. And if you add another solute and just settle at the bottom of the solution, then it is called as supersaturated. All right, so I guess this would be our last question. So a question from Candid De Leon National High School. Okay. Ma'am, what do you call when two liquids do not mix and form a... That's a great question. All right, so when two liquids can be mixed to form a solution, they are called miscible. But if two liquids cannot be mixed to form a solution, they are called immiscible. An example of miscible liquids is alcohol and water, while an example of immiscible liquids is oil and water. I guess that would be all for today. Thank you and Godspeed, everyone.